Really great to be here tonight. I tell you what, I actually want to first of all take a moment to thank Sean for doing this. You guys don't really realize how a big deal it is for him. It's overcoming a fear for him. Every time he holds one of these things, it reminds him of prison. And I can't quite really figure out if it's the color or the size. So you guys, for those of you guys who don't know what I do during the day, I'm a mild mannered hairdresser. And I know that you guys think you know what that is, but actually my details go like this. I show up at work, I ask people to take off their clothes, put on a robe. I lay them back and get them wet, I rub on them for like 5 minutes, and then a couple of strokes later we blow them and we ask for $50. What's funny is now we're so busy, I get my assistant to blow them and I keep the money. I guess that makes me like a PIMP. But speaking of gay, I'm not gay. Everybody always thinks that you're gay. And that's cool, but let me tell you, just because I don't play for the team doesn't mean I didn't try out. I mean, what can I say? They got a weight limit. If you think about it, I actually guess this is kind of like a safety device. So anyway, do you ever think about like how the first guy became gay, how that conversation took place? Two guys are talking about their girl and they're kind of complaining. He's like, look, dude, everything I do for her. For what little time, little attention, little affection. For what little quality time. What's mine is hers, what's hers is hers. This is ridiculous. I got a new idea. How about this? How about you do me, I'll do you. We each keep our own money, take turns washing dishes. You think about it? If you get the right guy, you can double your wardrobe. And it took a minute for you to do that. I tell you though, when I was 18, I tried to become a pedophile. But I was turned down for the seminary. So, what can I say? I'm not Catholic. It's funny, now the gas prices are better. Just a short while ago when gas prices are high, everybody had to figure out what they could do to save their company. And I had a great idea for UPS. What I thought they should do is give their packages to Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, they're going that way anyway. Let me see a show of hands. How many people here like internet porn? Anybody? Internet porn, that's what we're talking about. Come on, dude. You like internet porn. Look at this guy. But listen, I loved internet porn, but recently I had to give it up because, as you can see, I hate cardio. It's funny. I took my computer in to have it checked for viruses. Personally, I don't want to get a sexually transmitted disease. When I'm done with sex, I'm done. You know what I mean? I just want to push back and roll away. Personally, I don't want to type in the wet spot. One day I lost the SD for like 3 days. I tell you. Country girls, you gotta love them. We got lots of country girls in here. We got Loris and Conway, and they say the craziest things. Not only is how they say it, but what they say. So a really good friend of mine, she was saying that she realized that you're not really famous unless you have a sex tape. And she knew that she could do this. She wanted to be famous. So she's like, hell, I want to be famous. Let's get it going. So she got everything ready, then finally did the deed, and then realized that her cousin didn't know how to work the camera. And listen, I don't want to make fun of too many country people. If you mess with them, they'll kill you. And they'll get away with it too, if you think about it. They ain't got no dental records, and they all got the same DNA. My wife and I, our son goes to a private school, and it's not very culturally diverse, and recently there was a new kid that came to the school. His family's East Indian, and we were invited to a birthday party. And she didn't really know what to get him, but I had the perfect gift. What we did was we got him his very first telephone headset, so we could start practicing it. He was walking around the party going, D&D, how may I help you? His dad was so proud. You should have saw that. And it's funny, some of my gay friends, what they'll do is if they want to have a little bit of fun that night, get some love, and they'll go out to a straight bar and get a straight guy drunk. Then they'll take him home, and the next day the straight guy has to realize like what happened and rationalize the entire thing by saying, hey man, if I wasn't on bottom, doesn't count. I'm like, dude, whatever you gotta tell yourself, brother. So my straight friends, what they'll do if they want some loving is they'll actually go out and they'll meet They want to go meet a big girl. They'll go to the club and they're looking for a big girl. And I ain't talking about 180, 200. I'm talking about 240, 250. Ain't none of this red beans and rice didn't miss her. It's red beans and rice, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy, some biscuit. Come to think about it, that actually sounds pretty good. So one night before I was married, I wanted some loving, and I decided to take him up on this idea. And I took a shower, got dressed, and then I baked some cookies so I can get that nice fresh chocolate chip cookie smell. Got out to the club, and I met me a big girl. I mean, this girl was huge. This type of girl you were afraid that if her leg broke, gravy'd spill out. We got into the house, and it was on. We got underneath the covers, and we were smacking and flipping. It was like wrestling rerun for a funnel cake. It was good. And then after that, I was tired. I just passed out. And then I was thinking to myself, I woke up the next morning, I looked over, and I saw Big Love, and I was like, it's all good. Big girls need love, too. And I wanted me some more loving, so I cuddled up. Then I reached around, and I suddenly realized that she was a he. And I was just like you. I was like freaking out, and I thought about it for a minute. I sat back, and then I sighed a sigh of relief, and I was like, hey, man, I wasn't on bottom. Doesn't count. But anyway, listen, there was this one time I was at a bar. I saw an old friend of mine. And he wasn't doing too good. He was actually kind of down on his luck. He'd run into this girl he'd always wanted to ask out, and he could just never ask her out. And I was like, what's going on? And he said every time he was around her, he couldn't ask her out. He was so embarrassed because he always had a raging heart on. And I'm like, well, I know what you're talking about, man. You can't let her see you coming. Pardon the pun. So I was like, dude, I got a great idea. Next time you want to ask her out, what you want to do first is you want to take some duct tape and you want to tape it to the inside of your leg. Just tape it down to the inside of your leg and it won't be a problem. And he was like, are you serious? And I'm like, just take my advice and you'll get it done. So the next time I see him, he's looking just as down, and I'm like, you didn't take my advice. He goes, I took your advice. I'm like, so it didn't work? He goes, no, it worked. I'm like, really? So what happened? He goes, well, I took your advice. Then I went up and asked her out, not a problem. She said yes. We made plans for last Friday. I'm like, cool. So break it down. How'd it go? He goes, well, I showed up, rang the doorbell, and she came out. She had on a nice kind of a see-through skirt, and top, and her boobs were all busting out, and her butt was just kind of hanging out like pata. And I'm like, dude, this sounds awesome. What happened? He goes, kicked her in the face. Listen, guys, before I go, I just want to let you know something. It's funny that people who smoke, they always have all these options, when they're trying to quit. They have a patch, they have gum, they have hypnosis. They even have that little plastic cigarette. I know you've all seen it. It's just a little device they kind of hold around, and I guess the idea is that if you keep some form of the habit, it's supposed to help you break the habit. And that kind of makes a lot of sense to me. So before I leave, I got to ask you a question. I need to take a BC powder. So does anybody here have a razor blade and a straw? Thanks, guys. You guys have been great.
Gregory Blythe, ladies and gentlemen, let them hear it one more time. Gregory Blythe. Hairdresser having sex with transvestites.